Okay, another one of those episodes that I was expecting more out of, especially considering the fact that this is the most focused episode of the season so far because there's no cutaways or nothing. This one focuses on just one part, one story, one scene. It's not like the past few that have been cutting around back and forth. This one is on this one part. And yet, it doesn't feel like it's brutal enough. Then again, it's only the beginning of this battle, so maybe the next episode will be better. I mean, this episode's still great, but just a little disappointing. Let's talk about it. What's up? What's happening? What's going on? Everybody, welcome back to Mr. Station, Mr. Fantasy Animation, humanity's survival against the Titans for survival, as well as TV, movies, and anime. I'm your host, Jackson Small, who's local anime nut, and welcome to my review of Season 2, Episode 4 of Attack on Titan, titled Soldier. This entire episode is all about the battle against the Titans at Castle Utgard. That is the entire episode. There's no Eren, there's no Levi, there's no Armin, there's no Hanji, there's no Mikasa. No. The only familiar characters we get in here, in this episode, are Connie, and what was the other dude's name? It was Connie and Reiner. That's who it is. Connie and Reiner. Alright, without further ado, let's dive in. Because this summary, even though it's only one battle, a lot happens. So, let's talk about it. Here's your overview. At Utgard, the scouts engage the Titans. Earlier, Rainer visits Ymir and realizes she is able to read an unknown writing, because she's a Titan. When the tower is breached, the recruits are left to halt the Titans' advance. After a close call, they barricade the door. Outside, the scouts nearly finish off the Titans, but the Beast Titan begins throwing projectiles at them, and calls in reinforcements, just like how he killed Michi by throwing his horse at him. The veteran scouts are all killed, leaving the recruits defenseless and lamenting their deaths. Then Ymir jumps from the castle, transforming into a Titan, wanting to save Krista's life. Alright, long summary, let's dive in. Under the moonlight, two abnormal Titans play fight with each other as the Beast Titan ascends Wall Rose. Nanaba draws her blades alongside the head scouts atop Utgard Castle, telling the recruits to stand aside as they put their ODM gear to good use. As the recruits watch on, the scouts leap into the fray. 2 hours earlier, Nanaba's and Gelgar's team set up camp within Utgard as the horses rest and drink. Henning observes that someone had been at the castle recently, and Lin proposes the possibility of bandits. Gelgar joins them with a bottle of alcohol, though he cannot read the writing on the label. Gelgar tells the recruits to rest as the top soldiers keep watch, though little trouble is expected from the Titans at night. Oh, how wrong they were. Krista begins to wonder where the Titans are coming from if no breach was found in Wall Rose, and Gelgar tells her that they will investigate the issue tomorrow, stating that it is their job. Krista and Henning observe that Titan activity has been surprisingly low near the wall, given the possibility of a breach. Ymir asks Connie about his village, and he tells her that no one was found, but he believes that they survived. While all of the homes were destroyed, no signs of blood or remains were found at the ruins. Connie begins to wonder aloud about the Titan he found on top of his home, believing that it strongly resembled his mother. Yes, he's still on this. Rainer begins to question him until Ymir laughs out loud, pointing out the absurdity of his mom being a Titan when he is so short. There's a joke I can make about that, but it's too easy. She jokes that his father must have been a Titan as well, for his parents to do it, and Connie loses his temper. Oh, also a fun fact. Connie's voiced by Bakugo. So if his voice sounds familiar, that's why. This is Bakugo. This is Clifford Chaplin. At least in the English dub. Some hours later, Reiner visits Ymir as she searches through the supplies found within the castle ruins. Ymir jokes that Reiner did not seem like the sort of man interested in women, and Reiner replies that Ymir does not seem like a woman interested in men. Ymir informs him of her search for food, which may be their last meal. Reiner brings up Connie's concerns and asks for Ymir to continue joking about his worries in order to take his focus away from his missing family. Thinking little of Reiner's request, she finds a can of herring among the supplies and hands it to Reiner. He is surprised that she found canned food in such a place, but pauses after realizing that he cannot read the writing on the can. Reiner looks at Ymir in shock, and she stares back at him as she realizes her mistake. Before Reiner can ask any other questions, Lynn wakes up to the recruits to alert them of a dire turn of events. Atop the castle, the scouts spot a horde of titans inexplicably moving in the moonlight. The four officers leap into the titans with blades drawn, and Gelgard cuts the fingers from a titan trying to reach up for him. Nanaba lands the killing blow, telling Gelgard that the move was unnecessary and simply damaged his blades. Gelgard insists that it is his way of doing things, and demands for the kill to be counted as an assist. Nanaba is amused by his heroism. Below, Lynn kills a smaller titan attempting to crawl out from beneath the corpse of Nanaba's felled titan, and she notices the door has been broken down. She maneuvers to the top of the castle and warns the recruits of the breach, telling them to take any measures necessary to barricade off the titans before they infiltrate too deeply into the tower. The recruits descend the tower, and Reiner takes the lead as he rushes ahead of the others. Bertholdt tries to stop him, explaining to Connie that he has a bad habit of taking the most dangerous jobs. Further down, Reiner cautiously opens a blocked door to check for the Titan advance. Through the door, he sees one has already made it up the stairs, and he frantically blocks the door again. The Titan begins to bang on the door as Reiner calls for help, and he begins to wonder if his death is near, as the Titan's arm breaks through the door. He remembers a time 5 years ago when he and Berthold were escaping from the Titans, and Reiner was nearly caught. A friend pushed him aside and was caught by the Titan, eaten alive as Reiner and Berthold could do nothing to help him. Reiner moves away at the last second as Berthold comes to his side with a pitchfork, stabbing the Titan in the face to hold it back. As they keep the Titan back together, Reiner reminds Berthold that they will soon return to their hometown and that they will not die this way. Further upstairs, the other recruits arrive with a cannon, but with no gunpowder or cannonballs. They shove the cannon down the stairs, sending it rolling towards the door until it crashes into the Titan as Reiner and Berthold jump aside. The Titan is immobile beneath the cannon, but the recruits are left with only a small knife in Connie's possession. Reiner tells him not to use it against the Titan, with the risk of injury being too great. Krista proposes retreating upstairs, but another Titan climbs over the cannon and approaches Connie. The Titan lunges at Connie, but Reiner manages to push him out of the way in time. The Titan instead bites down on Reiner's arm, its grip too strong to break out of. Reiner takes the Titan and hoists it over his head, making his way for the window to jump out. Connie comes to his side, using his knife to cut the jaw of the Titan in order to break Reiner free. When the Titan's bite loosens, Reiner backs away as Ymir kicks the Titan out of the window. The recruits begin to barricade the door properly, as Krista uses Gelgard's alcohol to treat his injury. She apologizes for the string and notes that the bone is most likely fractured. With no bandages to cover Reiner's wound, Krista tears off a part of her own skirt to treat the bites, leaving Reiner somewhat aroused. She apologizes for the lack of proper treatment, but Reiner insists that she is helping. In his mind, he insists that he must marry her. A decent thought to have before you die, I guess. Ymir tells Krista that her finger got hurt in the fight, but Connie tells her to spit on it. He apologizes to Reiner for putting him in danger, and he points out that both he and Annie have had to save his life in the past, saying that he must repay him someday. Thinking back to the day his friend saved his life, Reiner tells him that he was simply doing the right thing as a soldier. Connie asks Bertholdt if Reiner has always been so selfless. But Bertholdt says that in the past Reiner was more of a warrior, leaving Reiner somewhat confused. Ymir looks outside and sees that the scouts have slain many titans in the meantime. Nanaba and Gelgar catch their breath on the tower as Lane heads to the top to check on the recruits. But a stunning whooshing sound catches their attention. Suddenly, an impact hits the stable, leaving all the horses dead. A second sound is heard soon after, and a boulder strikes the top of Utgard Castle, killing Henning and Lynn instantly. The recruits join Nanaba and Gelgar at the top of the tower, and Connie realizes the Beast Titan is responsible for their deaths. As he looks down from the tower, he spots a dozen more Titans approaching. Nanaba observes that the attack must be too strategic for a normal Titan assault, and that someone has been toying with them from the start. From atop Wall Rose, the Beast Titan roars at Utgard Castle before descending to the other side of the wall. Nanaba and Gelgar do their best to fight off the new horde of Titans as their gas and blades run low, and Gelgar notes that the tower's structural integrity is taking a toll. They examine their remaining equipment. Gelgar is out of gas and blades, and Nanaba is on her last pair of blades with little gas left. Gelgar prepares himself for death, having seriously injured his head and quickly losing blood. He regrets not having a drink before his death, and he lets himself fall. Nanaba kills the Titan, which catches him, but her blades shatter and her gas runs empty. As Gelgar falls into an opening in the tower wall, Nanaba is surrounded by approaching Titans. Within the tower, Gelgar finds his alcohol bottle and opens it for one last drink. As he holds it above his mouth, only a few drops hit his chin. He regrets his cruel luck while Titan grabs hold of him and he cries out in anguish, demanding to know who drank the entire bottle. His head smacks against the wall as he is pulled out, knocking him unconscious. Almost done. The recruits watch helplessly from atop the tower as their commanding officers are caught. Krista throws rocks down at the Titans, while Ymir stops her, warning her that she may fall from the tower. Below, Gelgar is eaten by a Titan as the horde fights over Nanaba, who has lost one of her legs. Delirious and terrified, Nanaba cries out for her father to stop hurting her until her screams are swallowed by a Titan. Connie begins to despair as the future looks grim, and Krista expresses her desire to fight to the death. Because they are all that's left, and all the veterans that were protecting them, dead, eaten, gone. Ymir scolds Krista, seeing that she wants to use her superior's death as an excuse for herself to die as a hero. Ymir approaches Connie, asking for his knife. She tells him that she wants to fight, though she is not sure of what she plans to do. Ymir returns to Krista, asking her to remember the promise they made to each other during their training days years ago, that we're going to get to learn more about in the next episode. Ymir says that while she has no right to tell Krista how to live, she wants for her to live her life of pride. Connie's knife in hand, Ymir runs from the tower and leaps into the horde of Titans. She takes the blades to her palm and cuts, triggering the power of the Titans and transforming into her Titan form. Yeah, like I said, the show wasn't very subtle about the foreshadowing. And that's the end of the episode. Next episode's going to be part 2 of this, plus some more background on Ymir, at least according to what the preview told me. Alright, let's finish this off with one final overall thoughts. The most focused episode so far is it only pertains to the battle against the Titans, as the tower of Castle Utgard struggles to stay up, putting the recruits mere inches from death as all the veteran scouts are killed, leaving their lives in the hands of Ymir as she reveals herself as a Titan hybrid, and dives into the fray to save her comrades. Bleak, bloody, intense, and shocking, this episode does a great job of following from episode 3's ending. Well, it's shocking if you didn't already understand the foreshadowing. And shocking from the deaths. The deaths are pretty brutal in this one. But they're not as brutal as I thought they would be. Like, keep in mind, the first death of this season was Michi, and we got to literally see him ripped to pieces. This one, it's, again, a lot like the deaths from Season 1. A lot of cutaways, a lot of just hinting at things, or having things happen in the background with no sight of the actual carnage. Like, damn it, if you're gonna be a gory anime, have the balls to go all the way. Aside from that, though, this episode is very, very good. It's great. It's a lot of fun. It's not fun. Sorry, this is Bleak Show. What am I talking about saying it's fun? It's a great watch. I'll leave it at that. Final verdict, 8 out of 10. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more videos like this almost every single day. And Tune in because we still have a bit to go with this season, because this was only the 4th episode of the 12 episodes of Season 2. And I've just figured out that this entire season is one arc. So I'll see you guys next time for episode 30, Historia, aka Season 2, episode 5. See ya.
Deciding for what comes up ahead. Hey,